Good morning. All right, guys. Not really seeing that much. I was hoping for a bigger gap up. Oh wait, we're gapping down? No, wait, what? Oh yeah, we are gapping down. I was hoping for a gap up. Gap up into these declining moving averages on the 60-minute. That would have been nice ad spots for some shorts, but now I don't see anything. Now I do not see anything good. This arc too would have been nice if it gapped up to 142, 143. Would have added it, but nope. So my game plan is to not do much. That's the edge we have in markets like these. When there are no setups and there is enhanced overnight volatility, your edge is doing less or doing nothing. Unless you're like a day trader, then you know there's always something to do. If I'm short ARKK, no, because if I was, it would be in my positions list. I actually had to double check if I was short it or not. I have 6 positions, I don't even know what they are. That's pathetic. Okay, good luck everyone. Yields, shields, who cares? Follow the price action. Fubo possible short. Oh, I don't see a setup. Where's the setup? Yeah, Snapchat is a superstar stock. Pinterest too. The social media one names apps. They yeah. Incredible strength. Just incredible. And now, man, it's so hard to see on the GME. Looks like it's GME's trying to test the declining 10-day again. mRNA earnings tomorrow. Okay. I'm gonna keep it into earnings. There is not gonna be a big surprise anyways. We already know the earnings are gonna be great. The numbers are already known. Tesla. Yeah. Well, I mean, this if the sell-off gets worse, if we have another leg down, Tesla's gonna go to 200 day. And I would have loved the gap up and push into the 10-day today. That would have been a nice ad spot. Right now, I'm just gonna keep what I have. It doesn't mean I didn't cover. I mean, I didn't cover everything, but I did cover. Looks like GME got rejected on the 10-day again. It's so nice to have a slow day after so many months of madness. It's kind of nice. Having a slower period. One of these days, GME has started building higher lows. And again, it doesn't have to bounce, but I do believe one of these days it's going to be up 50, 100%. But for that to happen, it actually needs to break these declining moving averages. In this case, the 10-day. It just keeps rejecting there. Guys, there are instructions on the screen. Okay? Please follow the instructions. Yeah, no alerts have triggered so far today. Except for GME, but that's it. That's the first time in many months. FSR, oh yeah, wow. Right back into this flag. It's QS too. QS this week. Orgo is a strong one. Someone asked me about it, or someone asked about it. Undercut the 20, reclaimed. It's a strong one, but I would prefer more of a range. What the hell is this LORLs? Horrible setup. And also, guys, if you're fanatic looking for breakouts right now, you know, be careful. Halo, didn't they have earnings? Yeah, they had earnings related breakout / an episodic pivot. Yeah, AMC. Yeah, that one really shook me out yesterday, man. Didn't even hit my stop, I just sold it. Broke my own sell rules, and yeah, now it's probably gonna go back to 10 or something. FSR has some big volume today. Is there any news on it? Signs a memorandum of understanding. What are they understanding? Yeah, he cut out my cat. I thought he was gonna include my cat, but he didn't. Chat with traders. Aaron Fifield. I'm holding my cat on that picture, but he cut my cat out. That's an unforgivable offense. You do not cut someone's cat out of the picture. It's just not something you do. Is that Bigglesworth? No, his name is Luca Bigglesworth. The values, those are the current values. Like for example, let's look at HCMP. These are the current values. I usually check the like guidance numbers and those things too. But because obviously, the stock market is trading on the future. So those, next quarters and next year's numbers are much important than current numbers. But I'm a little bit lazy on some of these stocks. So as you can see, like previously, I've added like the estimates also. But I already know the Square estimates are gonna be really good, or are really good. So, I'm just a little bit lazy. Yeah, this is the current quarter. But you should always look for the estimates and things like that too. Those are more important. Nah, it's coming soon. It's on the way. When I remove a stock from my watch list, I unflag it. Doesn't matter what you do. Maybe it's some kind of a reflex, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. So FSR is interesting again. This thing has a lot of volume. A lot of the reopening stocks are still keep going. Stuff like airlines, cruise lines, banks. Snapchat is pretty much only growth stock hitting new highs. A lot of oil and gas names. Man, I'm so pissed I sold my oil and gas ETFs like a month ago. I mean, look at this XOP. It did close below the 20-day here though, and it also closed, took out the undercut days low. So I would have gotten stopped out of it anyways, but EPS numbers, it's for information purposes. Macy's, yeah, that one I sold also a little bit too early. Yeah, it's holding up well. The department stores. Just JWN, and what's that one? KSS. Yeah. IBD MarketSmith app. Didn't even know they had an app. I just have it in my browser, an open tab. Celsius. Okay, good. Hopefully it goes lower. I don't want this thing to go to 100. CCL breaking out of a channel. Yeah, it broke out of a channel on February 16th. You're absolutely right. That's where the setup was. Celsius a good short? No. Don't short thin stocks ever. And also they, never mind, they don't report this week, they report in 2 weeks. Yeah, BA. It's a laggard in the reopening space, but it's, yeah, there's a maybe setup here. Looks a bit too random to me. Fossil. Yeah, it's a decent setup. That's a good thing about corrections. You see what holds up. But I think it's too early to buy, start buying breakouts. One, there's still not many good setups. There's some random stocks here and there. And two, I think we may need more time to resolve this. And even if the market rallies from here, it's gonna rally into the declining 10 and 20. There's a good chance it's gonna lose steam there when it hits there, those areas. And right now, you know, Qs are still below the 50. SPYs are holding up nicely. Russell is holding up nicely. Yeah, it's the Nasdaq, that's the weakness. That's where the weakness is. Oh, actually, Nasdaq is above the 50. It's the Qs that are below the 50. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's too early. It's too early to say. I want to see a proliferation of setups. That would be the buy signal for me. Right now, there's too much random things. Too many random stocks. And too few stocks that have good breakout setups. Yeah, Sava is a good setup. But I'm probably not gonna trade it. It's too thin. But yeah, it's a good looking one. Maybe not today, but definitely for tomorrow if it holds up. Upwork as episodic pivot. Usually you want to get the first or second earnings acceleration or the first or second EP. This is, you know, already the third. We had one here, one here. I don't know. Could work, but right now it's not acting too well. It's near the lows of the day. CVLB. CVLB. What? CVLB. I get CVLG. There's no such thing as CVLB. What happened to BA? What do you mean what happened to it? Is there anything special that happened to it? Narrow range days. Usually one narrow range day is enough, depending on the range before. I don't count the amount of days really. I just want to, I look at the overall quality. LFMD. It looks like shit. The high tide flag. It had a high tide flag here early February. And it had a potential high tide flag like last week, but that one failed because the market correction started. COS. It's a nice range break, but this was very wide coming into this. I don't think it's a good setup, no. Goose, yeah, it probably needs another week or two. Guys, stop fanatically looking for setup. There are no good setups. There's very few good setups. Give it some time. Give it a few more days. You don't need to trade all the time. Study setups instead. These are days you shouldn't even be trading much. This is the time you put in, spend time studying. Let other people trade mediocre setups in mediocre market environments. Your job is to sharpen your tools. That's what gives you an edge. Can you go with a Futu setup? Sure, I showed it yesterday. Gap down, rallied back into the 10-day, and that's where I shorted it. I don't remember exactly where. I shorted it somewhere here. With a set stop at the highs of the day. So I think it could, if the market correction worsens, 16 could easily pull back to the 50-day. But right now it's still building higher lows, so it's very strong. I'm probably gonna get stopped out of it unless the market has another leg lower. Exactly. Wait for the easy dollar markets, not the hard penny markets. Obviously, it's kind of hard to know what's a easy dollar market, a hard penny market as a beginner, but it's something you learn with experience after losing a lot of money. I would say right now it's not an easy dollar market. this year everything just goes super fast up and down, rally reversals. Based on what? This year so far? Nothing special. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no abnormal volatility this year. Market has, it's been a very good year, but a lot of speculation money in individual stocks, but it's obvious you probably haven't studied the past markets. This is nothing special this year. This year has been orderly, calm, except for some individual like small and micro cap stocks that have made enormous moves, but that's also, there's nothing special. These things have happened over and over again many times in the past. I don't know what you're talking about. You should probably spend a few hundred hours studying past markets and stocks, at least a few hundred hours. Gato, silver long. Looks like shit. There's no setup. Wide and loose. Come on, guys. Tightness is your friend. Tightness and relative strength, not wide and loose. Wide and loose is not your friend. Let the looses trade the wide and loose setups. Stick to the tight setups. Recency biased. If you've been trading for the past 2 years, have you already forgotten about last year? Last year had some volatility. Again, nothing really out of order, but this year, fast moves up and down? I wouldn't say so. You can't take wide and loose seriously? Okay, guys. Guys, do you want to be blocked? Define tight, follow the instructions on the screen. There's a whole video, 4 hours long, where I talk about breakout setups. There's a blog post where I talk about breakout setups. Come on, guys. Should we increase the limit to like 60 days or something? For being able to chat? Yes? Wow. Holy shit. Now the chat woke up. Yes, yes. That's a bit much. 1 year? Holy shit. Yes. 30 days is fine. It's like 95.5 for yes. Okay. What's the tight versus loose? So someone showed me Gato, okay? Now, why is this not a good setup? One, it's already made a big move. 3 days in a row, it's up 30%. Okay. There's no range here. It did have a little bit of a range here, right? But it's already made a big move. Like what's your edge buying something up 30% in 3 days? Where's your edge? And then we look at something like everything else looks fine. Like it has a lot of momentum. It's up 130, 140% in the past 3 months. So it does have momentum. It is building higher lows. So it looks fine. It's showing relative strength. It was up yesterday when the market was selling off. Like even silver itself was down. And this, so obviously it's showing relative strength. It has a lot of momentum. but it's not a good setup. There's no tightness. It's wide and loose. Versus something like Sava, look at this thing. Also has a lot of momentum, okay? Building higher lows, but look at how tight it is. Look at how tight this thing is. It's been pretty much going sideways for the past 3 weeks, building higher lows, lower highs, getting tighter and tighter. Also showing relative strength. This is a good setup. This is what you want to trade. This is an edge. This is not an edge. Gato, that red, no, it doesn't mean. It's just one day. What you want to do is look at the overall pattern. That's what's important. Like, I'm gonna show you some examples. Let's see here. Do I have any good examples? Let's see, Roku maybe. Okay, so Roku, for example. Now this was a great setup when the October-November correction ended. This was one of the first leading stocks to break out. Then you can just, draw lines, these lines. You can see it was building higher lows and at this range break. You can totally ignore this candle here. It's the overall pattern that matters. You can also ignore these candles, these undercuts of the trend lines, these overshoots. It's the overall pattern. You want to see it getting tighter overall. And this thing had a lot of relative strength too. It wasn't maybe as tight as I would have liked it, but it was showing a lot of relative strength. So sometimes that trumps tightness, but doesn't mean you can't buy anything. Let's look at something else. MSTR, no, this is not a good example. SI, this is a good example. This one I traded. Now, the 2 days before the breakout here, when I bought it, weren't tight, but it was showing a lot of relative strength against Bitcoin. Bitcoin was down during this time frame, and this thing, they just tried to bring it down, and every time it just reclaimed and closed into this range with higher lows. And this one also, you can just, look at the overall pattern, right? You don't put this line here, because if you buy it here, you're a loser. You want to buy it when it breaks out of this tight range. Like the overall range is very tight. Okay, that's a very defined range and showed a lot of momentum, okay? And had a tight range and showed a lot of relative strength. It's the overall quality of the pattern. It doesn't necessarily always have to be like a tight range day the day before or the 2 days before. There are exceptions. But the overall pattern, and also like things like relative strength, you have to put these things in context. Very important. You have to listen to the stock, what it tries to tell you. Like a lot of you, it's hard. It takes many years, but like 90% of the setup suggestions I get, it's just some random stocks. Like I don't really see an edge. They may or may not have a good setup, but you really want to try to trade the leading stocks, the hot sectors, things like that. Not that you can't make money off random stocks that happen to have some momentum and random and good setups. You can, but if try to stick to the hot stuff. Come on, GME. Is this the day it's gonna double? Or is this the day I'm gonna lose 500k on it? Come on. Too bad it's gotten very thin. It did show relative strength yesterday. And it's always been in a tight range for a while now. Exactly. If a tight setup, you can have a tighter stop loss. That makes sense. OMI, is that a good EP? I don't know. What are the numbers? Like, does it have explosive numbers? 396%. Whoa, what's that? 396% EPS growth. Revenue growth, not too exciting. Is this like a COVID name? Yeah, they make masks. They already had 2 EPs though. Again, you know, it already actually had. Never mind, this one. Like the good one was obviously here. Is this a big surprise? We already know. These numbers are already known. Even though they still managed to, you know, beat analyst expectation. I don't know. These ones are tricky. This coming out of a multi-month base, and you know, the only way you can learn is if you trade it. I guess. Like I probably wouldn't trade it, but. I don't think GM today is the day on GME. The volume is just not there. The volume is just not there. How does Minervini trade PSMT? You tell me. He's been trading for 40 years, and he's had, you know, according to himself, incredible returns. He also, you know, wrote 2 really good books about trading that I recommend to everyone. So I do think he's a, I don't think he's a scam, but yeah, how does he? He probably, with the returns he's had, you know, he probably should trade like a $500 million account. And yet he posts these thin piece of shit names on Twitter. There's something wrong. Something is wrong. I don't know what. Maybe an ex-wife took all his money and he had to restart. I don't know. Something is very wrong. Mysteries of life. Why did his hey Nasiad? Why did his members get pissed off with him? Are you in his chat room? Tell us. We want to hear about the drama. What did they say? Yeah, bring it. He's buying stuff left and right. His people are losing money. Yeah, that's another thing. He was in the Market Wizards books, like I think he was in the second one or third one, in like the 15 years ago or something. And I know Jack Schwager does verify people's returns. That's all, and also Chat with Traders did that too. He asked for verification of my accounts and stuff like that. So that's a good thing. So apparently, he should have great returns. He's probably, legit or was legit at one time. I don't know. It's just weird. I can't figure it out. Oh yeah, he's a salesman, all right. And funny thing, if he focused on liquid stocks, he would make 100 times more money from trading than, selling his courses and books for a lot of money. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just sketchy when he, posts these thin stocks on Twitter. It's just super sketchy. There's no way he's trading them. No way. Jim Roppel, does he have a service too? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a service. Yeah, but why does he almost only post these thing stocks? He used to only post thing stocks when I was following him years back. PRTY, good setup for earnings? What do you mean good setup for earnings? Nah, it looks too random. It's not tight enough. If I have met Tim Grittani, I don't know who Steve Dux is. Sykes I know who is, and I also Tim Grittani I have met in real life. Wait, what? Growth Stock Mentor. So this is the Jim Roppel service. But is he pushing these things? I've never, like, I follow Jim Roppel in one of my Twitter accounts. I've never seen him mention this. Is this like, how much does this cost? But yeah, I mean, it's just super sketchy. Like, the guy is worth a few hundred million at least, and, you know. Adam Saran, but Jim Roppel is also, he's the front face. Bush Snuck, never. Hey Mogsor, I just read your DM. That's pretty funny. Mogsor, he's someone who DM me. He can't write in the chat yet because he's below the 60-day limit. Or sorry, the 30. No, the 30-day limit. And he wrote to me, after I get approved, do 60 days. 90 days is fine too. Oh. Hey, David can't trade. Can I quote you on Twitter? Hey, David can't trade. Can I quote you on Twitter what you wrote earlier? I have to cut some things out though, because it's too long for one tweet. David can't hear. Do you want me to talk about Stockholm? Yeah, it's a company. I'm a co-founder. It's pretty much algorithmic investing, or actually it's not investing, it's trading. Right now it's only for the Swedish markets, but we may launch it in the US too, for the US markets. It's just a momentum based thing where you buy the strongest stocks. Well, not, you know, there are some other criteria too, but you pretty much buy strong stocks and you have specific entry and exit rules. Just like my own trading, hint hint. With just 3 co-founders, and yeah, it's a market-beating algorithm, pretty much. But again, this is for the Swedish market, not the US. Can you open an account from other EU states? Sure. Guaranteed 1000% return? No. You follow the trades? No, yeah, you have to follow, like you have to do it yourself, like the rebalancing. It's not something that gets, you know, it's not done automatically. Swedish mark, I don't see, no, for active trading. Active trading, the US markets are king. But for these types of momentum methods, you know, Swedish market is good. A lot, yeah, no. If I had planned a winter Easter vacation, I have barely been outside this winter. I've had a vacation, but it's been inside my house. It's been in front of Hearts of Iron 4. Knowing what I do you think you would have achieved even greater performance when you had small account? Oh yeah, I mean, this year so far I'm up about 90%. I can guarantee you I would be up 150, 200% if I had a much smaller account. There's so many opportunities I missed and passed on just because they're too illiquid. So many, like 2 stocks that all keep bugging me. It's DRXC and Sense, 2 high tide flags that broke out, and also this ZOM. 3 high tide flags that broke out in like January, February that doubled and tripled inside of like a week. And there's another one. There's also one, this weed name that keeps bugging me. I'm looking at these and they're like, oh, some of the best opportunities I've ever seen. SNDL, another one. Super nice high tide flag that broke out here. Like like on the 60 minute, it looked awesome. This one I actually had on the watch, but I just missed it. There were some other things I was looking at, and yeah. Also, it pretty much tripled or something in a few days. Yeah, it's just incredible opportunities. Long short. There's a bunch of shorts also I missed because they didn't even hit my scans. They were too illiquid. If I had a much smaller account, I would easily be up much more. Like this year has, it's incredible. The past 12 months have been, opportunity-wise, it's the best market since 99, 2000. Incredible opportunities. You get these perfect setups. And a lot of setups. Massive amount of setups. Almost every day you had, there was something to do. And now, right now, obviously, we are in a slower period. I'm not seeing a clear picture. IZEA. Yeah, IZEA too. This thing didn't even hit my scans. But yeah, down here, 5-star high tide flag. Look at this. Had a lot of momentum. Orderly pullback. Started surfing the 10-day. Got really tight, and then a breakout on how much higher volume. Obviously, this was a very thin stock. And look at what it did. It tripled. No, it almost quadrupled in like 10 days or something. 2 weeks. It's just incredible. This year has had some incredible opportunities. Instead, I traded stuff like NIO. They don't make as big percentage moves, but it's a very liquid stock. But still, another one. It had a high tide flag, like a large cap high tide flag. They usually, are a bit, longer. And made a 40% move in a little bit over a week, which is an enormous move for a large cap stock. Actually, up here, I think it was a mega cap. I think it had a market cap of 100 billion. So yeah, there's been so many opportunities, both long and short. Come on, GME, go already. The volume is so abysmal. And I just looked at AMC. Yup. This is why you never override your trailing stops. Like, I sold it here like 630s or something, I think, yesterday. But my stop was at like $6 or 590s. 590, I think my stop was. But I just, I thought it was gonna hit the stop. Obviously it didn't. And here we are. It's going higher and maybe it goes back to 10, 12 or something. Oh. That's what happens when you try to outsmart the markets. Square is acting well on earnings. It gapped down and now it's reclaiming. It tried to undercut the 50-day and now it's reclaiming. So far it's good price action. It's showing strength even though it's down on the day. This is one of the leading stocks. But obviously it needs to go sideways probably a few weeks before we get a good setup. This FSR is intriguing. It has a lot of volume. Well, actually not that much, but it's already traded average volume, so I don't know. Oh no, they have earnings tomorrow. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna touch it. I was a little bit intrigued, and honestly, I am a little bit bored. What can I say? If I would consider Tilray a parabolic long, when? Today? Yesterday maybe, today absolutely not. What are you looking for? Like, it's already up 20% from the lows, from yesterday's lows. Like what's your plan here? There were a lot of like some really good mean reversion setups yesterday. Some like Plug and Tesla. Tesla was a mother of all. It hit the 100th day almost to the penny. Lows of the day were 619, 100th day was 619.32. So there were incredible mean reversion setups yesterday. Like again, like day traders have always something to do. But day trading is still much harder than swing trading. Uranium nuclear plays? No. For the simple reason they're all too thin for me. I don't have any favorite stocks. Guys, if you want to make a lot of money in the stock market, stop having favorites. Your favorite stock should be the one with the best setup. You hate them all equally? That's a good attitude. You should treat every stock equally. Well, actually not. Depending on the setup. Depending on the setup. You should only love the stocks that have good setups and that are acting well. And once they trigger your stop or are not acting well, that's when you should end the romance. That's what a lot of people have a hard time with. They have these favorites and they just can't get out of the mentality of loving the stock, a certain stock or a certain sector. Because the thing is that stock is not loving you back. You may love a stock, but the stock is not loving you back. It's a one-way relationship. It's like having an online relationship with a Nigerian prince or a Nigerian princess, and you wire them your money, and then they send you, I don't know, maybe news or something they found off the internet, and you think it's a real person and they think they're in love with you. But in reality, it's a guy from Azerbaijan scamming you for money. Don't be that guy. Don't be a loser. David can't trade. Hey, David, I was asking for your permission, but you never responded, so I gave myself permission to quote you. Azerbaijan is known for scammers? I have no idea. No idea. I give you permission to take your own permission to quote me whenever. I have no idea what it means, but it sounds pretty complex. Why don't you set up a swing? Why would I do that? I have a swing trading desk. It's in front of my computer in my home office. Alright guys, things are really, like, I don't really see much to do. I did add a little bit to my Riot short, but right now it reclaimed VWAP, so it's probably gonna stop me out. I did a GME long. I would have loved to do twice the size, but you know, it's thin. It's really, the dollar volume is abysmal compared to a month ago. I also did some ARKK short. And other than that, did I do anything else? No. Nothing crazy, right? It's kind of hard to get a read on the market. Like, it's kind of 50-50. Like, we could go back, like, if you look at, for example, you know, the Qs. You know, we could be, you know, the next 3 to 5% move, it could be either direction. I just don't see an edge. I think it's gonna be to the downside. After this enormous run in the markets, it wouldn't be crazy to get a little bit of washout, maybe down to the 200 day or 100 cut to the 200 day, but you know, but again, anything can happen. All right, guys. If you are really loving the setup and not the stock, you are really loving the setup and not the stock when you long GME? Yes, it's the same thing with every stock. Yeah, when I see it's too thin, it means it's too low liquidity for me and I can't trade it. Alright guys, thanks for joining the stream. When will you stop playing Hoi 4? When I get tired of it. And I always get tired of every game sooner or later. But Hoi 4 is still very fun. Okay guys, thanks for joining. See you tomorrow.